Please open the door for me!
On the island we're headed to, 24 species have survived there alone.
The theme park owners did experimental work, leaving only the worst ones here.
Don't see that every day.
Or ever.
Let's go.
If we get this DNA, millions of lives are saved.
Maybe we should make this quick, huh? Time to move.
We put ourselves in a place where we don't belong. Survival is a long shot.
That's kind of our specialty.
She's scared. What is she scared of?
Come on! Run!
We're not gonna let you get hurt, okay?
Then was the source. We found it?
No, it found us.
Hello everybody and welcome to the entertainment headquarters and welcome to a very special live review. And to join me for this particular review I have two fellow YouTubers, content creators and fans of the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World franchise, Mr. Jedi Granville of Jedi Granville Productions and Gojira851. Welcome, my friends.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And it's been quite interesting. It really has, because I've seen every one of this franchise's films on the big screen in the theatres, and I'm sure you gentlemen have as well. But this time was a very interesting way of seeing Jurassic World Rebirth, because I had the good pleasure of having Mr. Jedi Granville's company with two other great friends of ours, D Film Fanatic and Sci-Fi Century, as we were in vacation in good old San Diego, California. And we decided, why not go see this thing together? And why not, make memories and do something, together. And it was quite an interesting experience. Mm-hmm. So, joining us today is Mr. Jake Hall. That's Hello, right. Jake. Thanks for joining us. And thanks for anybody that ends up tuning in and joining us as well today. But like I say, it's a special live review, and we have to review, as we mentioned, the latest entry in the Jurassic Park and Jurassic World franchise. It is Jurassic World Rebirth. But is it the rebirth we all wanted it to be, or was it just okay? Well, let's talk about it. So, before talking about it, let's just talk a little bit about the maker of the movie. So, Jurassic World Rebirth is a 2025 American science fiction action film directed by Gareth Edwards and written by David Cope. A standalone sequel to the Jurassic World Dominion 2022, it is the fourth Jurassic World film and the seventh installment overall in the Jurassic Park franchise. The film stars Scarlett Johansson, Mahershala Ali, and Jonathan Bailey, Rupert Friend, Manuel Garcia Rufo, and Ed Skirrin. In the film, the world's dinosaurs now live around the equator, which provides the last viable climate for them to survive. A team travels to a former island research facility where the three largest prehistoric animals reside, with the goal of extracting samples that are vital for a heart disease treatment. The team also rescue a shipwrecked family, and both groups struggle to survive after becoming stranded on the island. So there we go. So first thoughts, Mr. Jedi Granville, it hadn't been long since Dominion. So when you first heard that they were bringing back Jurassic World after just a short, absence, how did you feel?
I think my expression pretty much says it all, because I was saying to myself, would you, like the dinosaurs of old, just fucking die already? Because this is burning me out. I mean, we're already done with the Star Wars, with the Terminator. I'm just like, give me a damn break, man. I mean, come on. What are you doing? I mean, it's like, y'all can't let sleeping dogs lie and just let this be, this franchise be, I mean, Dominion, it was what it was, it wasn't nothing that's right or anything home about. Then when I heard that they were doing a sequel, when I say sequel, kind of more of a reboot, pretty much something to that effect, I'm just like, oh, God, come on.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, I'm getting, like I say, it's kind of the Danny Glover effect. I'm like, I'm getting too old for this shit. I'm like, I'm just done with it, man. Just come on, But I realize, like anything, when it comes to Hollywood, it's never going to stop. Why should we even bother saying anything?
Sister Sarah's arrived. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining me.
So, like I say, when I heard about it, I was just like, well, at least Scarlett Johansson's in there, and she looks good naked. So I look at it that way. So.
Matt, Gojira 851, your first initial thoughts when you heard, guess what? It's not dead. It's back from, extinction.
Well, I'm of two minds on this, because I didn't really dislike Dominion. It was definitely an acquired taste, because the first time watching it, I definitely enjoyed, the dinosaur action in that film, and the different, kind of, espionage-esque things that they went through. The different, shipping the dinosaurs around the world, and the mountain kind of esque, thing in Italy they had with Biocen, stuff like that. And, the Giganotosaurus with it. It started to lose me with the locusts, though. Like, what the hell are we doing with the stupid locusts? Okay, and then they wanted to do the whole burning them thing later in the movie, and then it set fire. I'm like, okay, we've got enough with the Freddy Kruegersaurus. I forget the name of it. We've got a thing with the Giganotosaurus, and then we had the whole the prequel looking thing where they were back in time, where they showed the Giganotosaurus, fight the classic T-Rex. I thought that would have been implemented, but it's like, okay, that just wasn't a thing. It was just marketing.
Yeah.
And then they kind of hinted this thing's the new bad, but then it's it's up and down. It brought back Dr. Grant, Dr. Sadler, and brought back Ian Malcolm. It's then they had it with the new cast as well, with the new cast. Can't think of their names right now. It's it's a mixed bag. So when I heard that they were going to do this new film, it's like, they kind of left off that it was all done. And all the dinosaurs were like in Italy and everything's going to be okay in the mountains. Like, all right. And then I saw the first trailer. It's like, okay, they're trying to be more faithful to the books. And now they're trying to finally go into their whole mutant phase. They've always been hinting that they want to do mutants with the Jurassic Park movies and the Jurassic World movies, which originally they said that the Spinosaurus in Jurassic Park 3 was their first mutant, which that's an entire story we can get into if you want to later, but that was supposed to be their first mutant. And it's supposed to be like the first like island killer dinosaur of all time, which blah, 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 blah. But originally they had concepts like humans were supposed to be bred with dinosaurs and supposed to run around with the guns and stuff, which I thought that was dumb. But this is supposed to be like an idea of that. It's like, oh boy, but I thought this was like the lesser of evils where they're taking different dinosaurs with other dinosaurs. So, okay. All right. Then the first trailer came out and we saw the D-Rex. And it's like, okay. All right. This is where they're going. Okay. And then we finally got the movie. And I can keep going or we can start talking about the movie now.
Yeah. So for me personally, when it came to Jurassic World Dominion, I found with Dominion that it was a bit of a disappointment. If this was the final of a franchise, it should have went out on a high. And I thought because when you had the prologue, which is the T-Rex and the Gigantosaurus, fighting in the prehistoric time, the fact that you're showcasing that, I thought they're going to end the franchise in a massive dinosaur battle, but this time allow the T-Rex to get the upper hand with no other help, no interference. Let Rexy, who, as you know, Rexy is the main Tyrannosaurus Rex that's been from Jurassic Park all the way up to Dominion. She's a lot older, a lot slower, but she's still fierce and vicious. And I thought, allow her to have her heyday and be able to defeat the Gigantosaurus on our own without any interference. But what we got was a shit 2-second battle, and it was all about the locusts that were taken over. And for me, it was a real disappointment. But the highlight of this one, Jurassic World Rebirth, is that it does state it's a standalone film. So for me, I look at this movie very much like, say, Jurassic Park 3. So Jurassic Park and The Lost World, them two for me are direct sequels. They fit perfectly, slide into each other perfectly. The third one, for me, is just another standalone film where, you could take it or leave it. You can just watch it with your popcorn and enjoy it for what it is. There's no, real connection to the previous movies other than bringing Alan Grant back and Ellie Sander. What I find with this movie, it's very much the same, where the events of the first three film of the Jurassic World trilogy, and now this is like standalone, where this could just fit in and just be its own thing, which it states it is, just a standalone direct sequel with no real connection to the previous movies, other than filling in the gaps, saying the dinosaurs have now had to be relocated to a particular area of the world because of the heat in the atmosphere and, the climate of the equator. So apart from that, it does fill in the gaps, but it's also classed as a prequel because, unknown to us, and this is the bit which I found a bit too far-fetched. So so the plot starts in 2008 in InGen. InGen is operating, a dinosaur research facility on an island called St. Hubert in the Atlantic Ocean. And they're now starting to do genetic experiments, including transgenic and mutated dinosaurs. So if you think about it, this is done in 2008. So it's meant to be set before, I think, Jurassic World. So obviously John Hammond's now passed away. And in my mind, they were starting once he passed away, whoever the shareholders were of InGen, they, like Disney, have just decided, right, we need to make the biggest attraction, the biggest dinosaurs. So before Jurassic World, the original park was open with the Indominus Rex, they decided they were already going to do some experimentations in 2008 on St. Hubert Island. And how the story goes is, as there's experiment, it's one day during this experiment that you have one of the workers that has the greatest weapon of all time, the most killy heel of all time. It is the most dangerous thing you could ever do to a highly, integral, technologically advanced lab. The most advanced lab in human history that is breeding genetically engineered dinosaurs with security, computer protocols. It has the most sophisticated computer systems that man has ever made. And one day you've got this guy in his hazmat suit who decides, guess what, it's feeding time with the latest mutated dinosaur called the Indominus Rex. No, it's not the Indominus Rex.
The D-Rex.
The D-Rex is called... But the D-Rex is called the Detaurus Rex. That's the full title, the Detaurus Rex.
Yeah, there's something.
So it's feeding time at the zoo for this, this particular creature. And the guy decides, while he's wearing a hazmat suit, in the most secured facility on the God's green earth, I would imagine, at this time, because of the danger.
And just realize this, it's not a rock, it's not a stick. It's so ridiculous.
But even if it was a rock or a stick, I still would have found this thing fucking pathetic. Because what ends up happening is you have this guy with his having his lunch break, and he goes, "Oh shit, I forgot to have me Snickers bar."
Hey, you're not you when you're hungry.
Yes. I better have me sweet treat before I feed the fucking most fierce animal on God's green earth that we've just created, the D-Rex, the Detaurus Rex. So it's feeding time. Him and his co-worker decide to go into the the confinement where the Indominus, the fucking D-Rex.
The D-Rex.
It's where the D-Rex is being kept. So he goes to feed it, but he drops his Snicker packet.
Mm-hmm.
The Snicker packet has the secure, interlocking doors to the containment unit start to slowly close. There's a suction system that sucks everything in, so no bacteria or any sort of, germs or anything that could be a hazard suddenly gets sucked up into an air vent in the doorway, goes through into the computer system, into the, the mechanics of this fucking secure lab, and breaks the door by causing electrical power surge or a circuit out. And the next thing you know, the thing that destroys the whole fucking secure lab and causes this island to become inhabitable and too dangerous to man is a Snicker bar wrapper.
Whoa. $1 billion lab. billion dollar test subjects. This entire island is taken down by a Snickers wrapper.
And people said the crew had bad writing.
Oh,
but I told you, Kevin, that this felt so much like a fucking Final Destination motif.
Yes.
Where some of the littlest thing draws out and it leads to something even bigger. And I'm just like, get the hell out of here. You are not going here. Please tell me you're not going here. I'm literally watching this, and I'm just like, that's not a rapper, is it? That's not not the good kind. I'm like, it's a good kind, but I'm like, it is not going into the ventilation system. It's not affecting this, as Gojira said, $1 billion of hardware. It is not affecting this. It cannot be doing this.
What makes me laugh? It makes me think people, they must just want to, hide the fact of the stupidity of the writing of this particular part of the movie. Because if you go onto Wikipedia, it doesn't even mention it. It simply says the site is used for genetic experiments, including transgenic and mutated dinosaurs. One of these creations, a deformed six-limbed tyrannosaur dubbed the Taurus Rex, escapes containment. It kills an employee and wreaks havoc, forcing the personnel to abandon the island. So it wasn't the Snicker bar, according to Wikipedia. The thing just escaped on its own.
It just magically escapes on its own. Ooh. Yes, I guess they didn't want to spoil the movie for whoever was reading it. I guess they wanted you to go see it yourself.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure
the most dominant force on that island was a fucking Snicker bar.
Mm-hmm. Hungry? Why wait?
Exactly. I guess never underestimate the power of a hungry person. Yes, that's gonna get you. Oh, get out of here, man.
I agree.
Yes, I agree, Queen. I agree.
Yeah, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Jeez. So, would you like to continue, Matt? Because the Snicker bar conversation has me wiped out already.
Okay. So, sometime, I guess a few months passed by.
It's like present time. It's like now, isn't it?
Yes. So, this one dude, I forget his. Hold on, I got the cast right here. Hold on.
Yes.
So Mr. Martin Krebs is working for this pharmaceutical company, and they're working on this miracle cure for heart disease, and they were in charge of the dinosaurs, and they want the way how they were to get the cure for doing this was they need samples from the 3 largest dinosaurs, the blood samples. They need blood samples from them to, engineer and bring back and to, reverse it and, to create this, miracle cure so they can, make billions of dollars and everything like that. So he wants to, hire Scarlett Johansson because she's apparently a black ops and, she's like great at, getting in places and getting out of places and, stealing, samples or all this other stuff.
This is Rupert Friend, who plays Martin Krebs. He is the pharmaceutical representative.
Yes.
And then, as you've mentioned, we are introduced to Scarlett Johansson's character.
Yes, and the character to her right, or our left, or my left, is Dr. Henry Loomis, or played by Jonathan Bailey. He is a paleontologist who wants to, be the Dr. Grant of the film, except I think this guy's actually more of a pain in the ass than anything else. Mm-hmm. But, right, go ahead.
And don't forget, he does mention when her character Zora is trying to convince him to go on this expedition to this island with Martin Krebs, he does mention, and this is the only linkage I would say to the past film, he says that he studied under Dr. Grant. So Dr. Grant was basically his mentor, or when he was coming up and training to be a paleontologist, he was actually studying under Alan Grant.
Right. So it leads to a part in the film that they attempt to do with him over and over again. Comedy. This dude is not funny. The shit that he does is not funny either. Altoids are not funny. That shit's aggravating. Okay, stop it with that. For anyone who's writing a Jurassic Park movie in the future, stop it. Stop with the fucking Altoids. Okay, I'm like, stop it. Okay, because they actually stopped and they actually sat in theater. I remember actually sitting there. It was dead silent in theater. That shit was not funny. And they tried this crap again later when they were doing one of the samples. We'll get to that. That shit's not funny. All right, Altoids are not fucking funny. All right, stop it. But anyway, So moving on, they actually collect Scarlett Johansson's character Zara and the Doctor and Martin, the jackass, and they're going to move on and they're going to go collect the rest of the team, and they're going to move on to the island, and they're going to try to get their samples. That's when we meet perhaps the best character of the movie. In my opinion, he's the best character in the film. That's where we're going to meet Duncan. Sorry, my screen. Duncan Kincaid.
Yes.
My favorite character of the film. He's kind of like the Robert Muldoon character, except he's got a lot more to do in this film. And in my opinion, they really screwed with him in this film because it's hinted that he has a backstory to this, with his daughter and his family, but they don't really tell us. I mean, they tell, but they don't show. I wish they would have shown something more for Duncan in this film, but it's just they kind of tell, but they don't really. All right, go ahead.
Yeah, but I found the two characters I leaned to the most were Scarlett Johansson's Zora and Duncan, because they were both, both basically mercenaries hired by the pharmaceutical company. And what I also found with them is because they had both suffered great loss, like they have a conversation. So basically Duncan has a team and he has owns his own boat, and they're going to use this boat to get to the island. And Dr. Loomis explains how they're going to collect the samples with like a dart gun, that when the gun's fired and it sends the dart into the skin of the dinosaur, it then drains the blood up from the skin of the dinosaur, and once it's got enough blood, it will then eject itself and fly back down to the ground using like a parachute type of effect. And they have this conversation, but also when Dr. Loomis kind of is out the way, they have a deep conversation about basically how and I guess it's never really explained if it was a boyfriend or, well, no, it wasn't a boy. I think they were just real close best friends, and he dies during a bombing, during like another, job that they were on, and she had to go and explain to his wife how he died. So she's really upset with that. But then he's obviously, because of his lifestyle, had a partner and had a child, and they've now separated because obviously she doesn't want to be with somebody that lives that lifestyle, who's a mercenary, who, life and death scenarios that they live in each and every day. And he really, talks about his daughter a lot. And she, she's like, well, I hope you get to see your daughter again. I hope you get to make up with your ex-wife again. And that kind of sets the tone for me personally between the two main characters that we get to care about, because obviously you need at least one character to link onto to get you through the movie. And I felt as if we had two.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean,
all right, so they set sail, and that's when we meet team two, or not really team two. We meet our other characters, and people have told me over and over again that these people are hilarious and they're wonderful and they add a lot to the film. They actually aggravate the shit out of me. And I understand that they're there for like the family appeal of it. They aggravate the shit out of me. I want to hear your guys' opinions on this. But we have the father character, played by Manuel Garcia Rolfo, Ruben Delgado. We have the youngest daughter, Audrina Miranda, playing Isabella Delgado. We have the boyfriend, David.
You have Luna Bass, who plays Teresa, who is the youngest daughter. No, she's the eldest daughter.
Yeah, she's the eldest. And then we have the boyfriend, Xavier, played by David Lisano. Yeah, this should aggravate the crap out of me. They are there for like the family appeal of it. They aggravate the crap out of me. And what are your guys' thoughts on this?
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now. Me and Sci-Fi and Kevin have said this. this man gets the worst Father of the Year award because if dinosaurs are present and very indigenous to a certain area, and you're taking them straight to where they're pretty much in the habitat, wouldn't that make you think twice in going that route? You know, you think like, okay, take your kids to somewhere it's like it's enjoyable, it's safe, it's something. Dinosaurs are in exactly this area, and you're making a draw right towards where they're at. I mean,
yeah.
Don't you think that would be kind of endangering your kids somewhat?
I personally think they shouldn't have had the family involved in the movie at all. I think there was no need for me, it was a rehash of like a similar scenario in Jurassic Park 3. And that's what annoyed me, because you have this story with this paleontologist, these mercenaries, this slimy pharmaceutical company owner. They could have made this film a real dark and real more interesting movie, closer to the original book and the original movie, if you just didn't add the family element. But we all know why they added the family element. So for those watching, the beginning of the movie tells you about the backstory, the island and the mercenaries and the paleontologist and the pharmaceutical guy. They're one team that are going to the island to basically get the DNA, the blood from the 3 biggest creatures living on the island. Then they have this side story of this father who clearly is divorced from his wife, and it's his period to have his kids. And he's built a boat. And this is what I figured out. He built a boat from scratch by his own hand. Well done. Well done on you, spending years to build this amazing boat. So he builds a boat and he thinks, right, the best thing to do for family time for me and my daughters, let's sail around the ocean. But this is the stupidity part. He decides to sail around the ocean where he knows there is active, real-life dinosaurs. Even the people, even the mercenaries, Scarlett Johansson's team know that it is forbidden to go near a certain part of the equator and a certain part of the ocean, which is, off limits, because they know the mosasaur and other, aquatic animals are circling around that area, and if anyone goes near them, boom, you're going to get caught and bad shit's going to go down. So what does the worst start of the year do? I'll get in the boat that I've spent many, many years making with my own 2 hands. I'll take me 2 precious daughters, but unfortunately there's a shit bag of a boyfriend that's going to be joining me, because the daughter probably wouldn't have come on the vacation if I didn't take the friggin' boyfriend with us. So what happened? I'll tell you what, I'll go into the forbidden water, because it's an easy way to get from A to B to the location that we're going. So what ends up happening? What ends up happening is that the mosasaur discovers the boat and decides to attack it and shipwrecks the family, the 2 daughters, the boyfriend and the father. The boat gets overturned by the mosasaur in the most epic way. Boom, the most epic way the boat gets overturned by the mosasaur. This boat that this stupid father had spent years making with his own hand is literally wrecked in seconds. So for me, this part of the movie, even though, if I thought the fucking Snicker wrapper took us out of it, having a dumbass father of the year, worst father of the year, to, bring your kids to danger, that straight away kind of took us out of the film a bit. But what I was holding out for is what I got out of this movie later on, and that was good action and good dinosaur, sequences. Yeah. And despite the shit that went down with the father and the dumb boyfriend, I love the the scenes with the motor saw knocking the boat over, and then in the distance you could see some fins floating around the water, which we'll later on find out what belongs to.
Right.
I mean, that's the thing right there. I mean, especially, and see, this is where it's something that Gojira said something about the red shirt motif that really. You think that I'm thinking the boyfriend might get taken out, I mean, because be truthfully told, he should have got taken out, but I mean, maybe I'm spoiling it a little too soon, but he seemed like he should have been the utmost person to get red shirt real quick. But we're gonna find out that he actually does come in handy through the film, and I'm just like, I mean, you have to look at it that way, because I'm looking at Gojira's face. It's like, what are you talking about? It's like, yes, he does actually bring.
He does.
So I figure like he's not
He
as bad as we think he is, although he is a complete and total sack of nothing. So, but yeah.
Not even Donkey Kong's bollocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
So what ends up happening next is basically, because of the stupidity of this worst father of the year, the team starts, the team have decided, right, the first of the three big, dinosaurs we need to get DNA from is the actual motorsaur. And they got close enough to the island that they were going to hunt the motorsaur down. This bad boy, my little motorsaur here. But what ends up happening is as they're heading towards the island, there's kind of a tug of war on what to do, because the pharmaceutical guy who's all money, just thinking of the money and all of that stuff. He, in him and the other henchman, yes.
This is where you come to find out that Gareth Edwards is a huge fan of Jaws.
Yep.
Because not only does this scene and all of this mirror Jaws, but also there's straight up dialogue that mirrors Jaws as well. Because
I noticed that
when they make their decision to go and help, what's his name again? Mr. Krebs, almost called Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krebs is he makes the comment, "Hey, this is my charter," and then Duncan says, "It's my boat." Almost like when Chief Brody says, "It's my charter," but then Captain Quint says, "It's your charter. It's my vessel." It's like,
yeah.
And then later we got the whole thing. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, continue.
No. I agree with you. There is, but I think obviously Gareth Edwards is a huge fan of Steven Spielberg. So if you take a look at a number of his films, like The Creator or Rogue One, or even Godzilla 2014, you can see hints of like his tributes to Spielberg and George Lucas throughout the course of those particular films. So it does not surprise me if he kind of adds dialogue that comes from previous Spielberg and George Lucas movies. But as you've mentioned, Mr. Krabs or Mr. Krebs, he's a douchebag, and Duncan, who is also a father figure who is struggling with his emotions due to the fact of what went down with his own situation at home, and he has the radio SOS from the boat from this family, and so him and Zora make the decision that it's best to go after the family to save them, because it's the right thing to do. But Bobby, who was played by Ed Skirton, who's one of the members of the team, he's also on Mr. Krebs's side. Like, think of let's just get the motorsaur DNA and then we can go after the family. But let's be honest, they would have got the motorsaur DNA, and then they would have just left the family to die, or they would have just pretended that, you know, that didn't happen and want to go after the next lot of DNA. But what ends up happening is of course, they catch up to the boat and they rescue the family. But as they are, you know, making their way back to the island without telling the family, or say, "Oh, I've just got this little job to do. Don't you worry about it. It won't be long, and then we'll get you to safety." All of a sudden, our good old friend, the motorsaw, makes another an appearance. And motorsaw, our good little friend, is not alone this time.
Yes.
Because the motorsaw brings along his friends, the Spinosaurus.
Mm-hmm.
And can I just say, I really prefer the Spinosauruses in this film than I do Jurassic Park 3.
Mm-hmm.
As you've mentioned, during the time of filming and the creating of Jurassic Park 3, the Spinosaurus basically was what they thought the Spinosaurus was. They thought it was a land animal with a giant fin on the back, and they thought it rivaled the Tyrannosaurus Rex. And that was the whole point of introducing it into Jurassic Park 3, was they wanted the T-Rex to have a rival, and they also wanted to feature another dinosaur other than the Tyrannosaurus Rex. Where as time's gone on and paleontology's advanced, they now have come to the, you know, the discovery that the Spinosaurus is more of an aquatic dinosaur. It lived near lakes and seas, and it hunted in the water more so than anything else. So, of course, they've updated the look of the Spinosaurus. Like you've mentioned, Matt, the Spinosaurus in Jurassic World, or Jurassic Park 3, is the first official mutant that was seen on screen, but in reality, it's the T-Rex that's kind of the first mutant now.
Right, indeed.
But back in the day, we all thought it was the Spinosaurus and then the Indominus Rex.
Mm-hmm.
But this whole sequence that went down, which I'll let Jedi explain, was amazing. So the family are all adamant they want to get away from the motorsaur, but there's Zora getting her gun out. There's, you know, the paleontologist, Dr. Loomis, and they have no clue what's going on. So I'll let you explain this part, Mr. Jedi.
I mean, she's, like I say, and it's kind of what Gojira had mentioned before. Gareth Edwards is such a fan of Steven Spielberg, and this scene almost, to a degree, mirrors the scene with Quint at the front of the boat, where he's about to shoot, you know, the great white, and she's doing the same thing, and it is a thrill ride. It is a thrill ride when you see this, how the whale, you might as well say it's like a whale, the Mosasaurus jumping out of the water and doing what it does, you know, and it, while they're doing all these things, it's hitting the boat, knocking people over, back and forth, and there's a point where she actually hangs off the edge. You know, I mean, just like, dude, I mean, it's almost like she can, like see, like that. I mean, it's almost like she can touch the damn thing, you know. But it's she, like I say, she like I say, like everyone else, is trying to hang on for dear life, trying to get a shot of this thing, while others are trying to just hang on. And in the midst of all this, the oldest daughter of the father, she tries to call for help, and it's again. This is almost, yes. You know, you're about, yes. You know, that's what I'm saying. You're this is a Jaws moment.
Mayday Orca, Coast Guard.
Right. I mean, seriously. I mean, could you not see that? I'm like, dude, that's like too much on the nose. She's trying to call for help, and the dickhead who's like kind of financing this, he stops her from doing this. And when something happens, she kind of rolls over to the side where she almost falls into the water, and he just stares at her, at her, not even thinking about trying to hint of rescuing her or anything like that. I'm just like, you cold-hearted bitch, you really gonna just do this? You're thinking about the damn you know, what the prize of what you're trying to get.
Yeah.
So, but that sticks with her. It sticks with her, and like I say, she remembers this thing, and I think is her boyfriend. Did her boyfriend save her?
Yeah, so the boyfriend finally did something to actually help in the movie.
No, he did something more.
Yeah, he showed he wasn't just a dumbass. He showed he actually had some testicles.
He wasn't a total dick. Yes, he wasn't a total dick. But in the midst of all this, Scarlett Johansson's character managed to, you know, get the shot off that they're trying to gets it, you know, and you know, like I say, because we saw an earlier test of where you just take the syringe, whatever it is, stick it into the particular dinosaur that you want. It fills up with the blood, shoots it up, and we see it in action in here. And it actually does a pretty good job, you know. I mean, it's like, okay, that's how this works, you know. So,
but what ends up happening then, it kind of pisses the motorsaur off. Because next thing you know, and this is one of my favorite sequences, which like you see could also be inspired by Jaws, is that because, you know, the blood's being captured by the needle, by the projectile, they get it onto the boat, it gets saved, but the next thing you know, the motorsaur, now it's pissed off, it starts chasing after the boat and ramming it into the side of like the cliffside near the island. They realize that unfortunately they're not going to survive if the motorsaur continues to go after the boat, so they end up having to go into the shallow waters near the island. And it's also during this time, it's the chase scene with the motorsaur, but at the same time, the boat also comes under attack by the new Spinosauruses, and I think there's 4 or 3 of them. I think that there were 3 of them, and honestly, like we say, the image I showed before was one of the scenes where the youngest daughter basically nearly gets chomped. She nearly gets chomped by
Explorer. Yes.
Dora the fucking pathetic explorer.
Yes.
Nearly gets chomped by one of the new Spinosaurus. Now that Spinosaurus looks absolutely huge, and even to this date, even outside of the Gigantosaurus and the Tyrannosaurus, the Spinosaurus is still the biggest, they reckon, predatorial dinosaur, even though it lived near water. And for me, it was just outstanding. Like, here's a clip of this, just a quick clip of it swimming away from the boat when it's getting fired at. But this particular scene that I showcased, there is a scene, and it's probably one of the best scenes because, as we know, Miss Martin Krebs, the pharmaceuticalist, douchebag, he's got Bobby on his side.
Yes.
So during the scene where the kid's basically getting, the kid's basically gonna get munched, and the father manages to pull the daughter into safety. Bobby has got a gun and he's firing shots. I think that's a part of this gif, yeah. See the bullets go near the spine. That's Bobby shooting at the Spinosaurus, or at least one of them, and he goes onto the thing and he's shooting at the Spinosaurus. Suddenly he goes and stands in the walkway. And this reminded me of Jaws when Quint got caught by Jaws, Bruce the shark. Basically, what happens is, as he's, I guess, going to go in through the doorway to get away from like these bombardment of the Spinosaurus, another Spinosaurus leaps out of the water and just
grabs him. Yeah.
Boom. And then it pulls him into the water, and you can see it slowly kind of chomping on him as it's swimming away, and there's Zora trying to save him. So for me, the great thing I like about this, like I mentioned, is the amazing, dinosaur sequences, and it doesn't shy away from the kills, where I felt as if Dominion focused more on the story and not focusing on, delivering what the fans of the franchise wanted.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point of this. I mean, I love it. Oh,
we'll get there.
We're gonna go. Trust me, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there for sure. No, I mean the simple fact is.
Welcome, my
what's
friend.
up, Ami? Okay. Yes.
Welcome, my friend. Hello, Colonel Gale. Welcome as well. Thank you for joining us.
I want to say, we're getting the royal treatment here.
I cannot wait to see you in the new Street Fighter.
Yeah, exactly. but like you say, this is good action that's leading up to where to get on the island, because like I say, we have to have all these dynamics going on. Like I say, the family dynamic has to deal with having that structure, and hopefully it survives. We can, like I say, my whole thing was hopefully the father of the year is still alive, and he's able to save his daughters. If he loses the prick of the boyfriend, it's like I was saying to myself, I'm not going to worry about that. I was not going to thread on that, because I feel like we can lose him. It's not no big deal in my mind. I can, some characters, and I hate to say it like this, but some characters deserve to die in some films because of their mentality and everything. But who am I to judge that? I'm not saying I hate it either. In fact, I actually enjoyed this better than Dominion. But as I say,
what we're going to do, Colonel Guy, at the end, we're going to give our final thoughts, and we're going to give obviously our ratings of the movie. I do it in numbers, so I'll do 1 to 10, whatever. So it's going to be interesting. I know we've talked a bit of smack about the overall beginning in the part of like the setup, but now we're getting to the meat of the movie.
Yes, we really are.
It was unintentionally hilarious at parts.
Yes.
So what happens next after this incident, and they realize that not only do they have to get away from the motor saw, and they've got to get away from the Spinosaur, the only way to do it is to basically get closer to the island. And so for whatever reason, the father of the year and his kids, because he is a genius, he is, he's the smartest father I've ever known. He decides, all of the family decide to jump off the boat when the boat gets closer to the shoreline or closer to shallow water, and decide to jump into the water to get away from the chaos. And Duncan decides to crash the boat into the island. Their only ways of escaping, by the way, that we think at this point. And then of course Zora and the rest of the team jump into the water to get away as well. In that whole sequences, I was like, this reminded me of the parachute scene, or the scene in Jurassic Park 3, right at the beginning, where you have the father and the son tied to the back of the boat, and they were like parachuting, and then the boat got attacked by something mysterious in the water, which I'm assuming, because you still didn't see it, I'm assuming it was the Spinosaurus.
You're talking about the moment where one of the characters, I can't remember who that girl's name was, because that's what you call a throwaway character. She's getting I'm talking
about in the third movie, where the whole setup of when the boat crashed into the rocks and everyone's jumping off the boat to get away from the chaos. There's that particular scene in Jurassic Park 3 where right at the beginning, where the father and the son are like got the parachute at the back of the boat, and they're trying to see that he's got a pair of binoculars, trying to see any dinosaurs on the island, which was another dumb fuck move. Next thing you know, it got into like a cloudy area, and then you heard a bit of ruffling on the boat. The next thing, when it comes out of the fog, the boat being ransacked, everyone who was on the boat clearly being killed, and the boat's about to crash. So what does the father do? He unhooks the parachute and it flies into the island. That was on Jurassic Park 3.
Yep.
So
it's the first sequence of the movie.
When I said the Spinosaurus, I'm assuming whatever attacked the boat in attacked the boat in Jurassic Park 3 when it got into that fog, I'm assuming it was the Spinosaurus, because it never actually said what it was or what did it. But this whole sequence leading into the island reminded me of that sequence from Jurassic Park 3. It basically was like a recycling in many ways.
Some ways. Well, who was the now? And see, this is what I'm trying to figure out. Who was that character? Who's that other girl in this moment? And because you see, and this is what it surprised me so much when it happened, because and I didn't see it at first until someone said, it's like, oh, and then I actually noticed there was a Spinosaurus. I'm talking about in the Rebirth, there was a Spinosaurus behind.
I think it was Nina.
Yeah, it was Nina. Yeah.
So Philippine Velge. Philippine Velge. She plays Nina, a member of Zora's team. So I didn't see this bit coming, but let's make the scene. So basically, this for me was one of the best kills, but it was the most one of the saddest. So the chaos is over. Zora, Loomis, Duncan, Mr. Krabs. We'll just call him Mr. fucking Krabs.
Krabs. He is a crab.
Them three, they make it safe to the island. So does Nina, and so does the other member of Duncan's team, the other survivor, who I think was Leclerc. He is the other member. So yeah, Leclerc and Nina are the red shirts. Put it that way. So they're the red shirts. Just think Star Trek, the red shirts. We know what happens if you're in a red shirt on Star Trek. So they survive, and they're trying to gather all the equipment that's located on the island. Some of it washes ashore, some of them they've got to pull from the water, and there's like this big, I guess, lots of equipment that's in like a secure netting, and Nina is like resting behind behind this big pile of equipment with the net on, and she's just chilling. She's like, I've got to gather my breath back. We've just survived this horrendous situation. Wow, thank God. But then in the background, we slowly see a fin start to rise out of the sand, and slowly, actually quite quick, suddenly circles into the water, and then the next thing you know, you see Nina walk around the other side where she was sitting to like unbuckle the net to get the equipment out, and all of a sudden you hear the
It's quick and it's like
and the next thing you see Nina, the poor soul, getting dragged a bit like Bobby, dragged into the water and being chomped on and diving. And there you've got poor Duncan, who's now lost another friend, who basically is now screaming her name, Nina, Nina, and he just, even though he's shouting, he knows there's nothing he can do to save her. So
and notice that it's a kind of a Saving Private Ryan moment where you see the water turn red, washing up on the shore like it does. I mean, it is like I'm just like, and I can say, I mean, I know a body doesn't have that much blood in it, but I mean, just know you see that blood turn red like that. It's like, that's an indication of just saying, we don't know who's going to be next in this scenario. You know, anybody can be red shirt now, but how are they going to get killed is the question.
Well, if your name isn't on the poster, you're a red shirt. That's how I look at it.
Yeah, that's a good point. So you got to have your name on the poster to indicate that I won't die. Okay, well, how come Samuel L. Jackson's character we see gets killed off in like, I don't know what, 30 minutes?
Yeah. Well, you either have to be the marquee name, and even if you are going to get killed off, it has to be a really good death. As you know, the one thing we know with Jurassic World and Park, everyone who's like a slimy, like say, you know, like you had Dennis in Jurassic Park. He was like a slimy, ruthless employee who was, you know, doing things behind the scenes. Then you had Hammond's nephew, who got killed by the junior Tyrannosaur. He was just money hungry. He was like trying to make Disneyland. He's like the corporate guy. Jurassic World, you also had who got killed. And it was the guy who was trying to sell the DNA, who was played by him who plays Kingpin. He got killed by a raptor.
Vincent
So,
D'Onofrio.
yeah. So, you know, everybody who gets killed, you know, it's going to be whoever the slimy politician is, whoever, you know, the guy who turns the back on them and becomes the villain. You know who's going to get it in the end. But it's when a heroic character dies, that's when you feel it. And that's the difference between Jurassic World Rebirth and Jurassic World Dominion. Not many people actually die, I think, or if anybody dies, except the villain. The villainous character got killed at the end of Jurassic World Dominion when he was in the monorail thing. Yeah. But outside of that, I don't think any of the heroic characters died. Everyone else who died, everyone else survived. Where this one, the one thing I liked about this, it went back to, like, say, Jurassic World. It went back to Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park, The Lost World, that you had people who were innocent, who weren't, like, villainous or anything, they were dying. You didn't see the deaths, you know. Some of the deaths, you know, I didn't see coming. Hell yes.
Yeah,
definitely remember that. One of the best deaths and one of the ones that you didn't see coming.
Mm-hmm.
It is hilarious though, the CGI of him in his body floating around the water. Yes. Samuel CGI Jackson just was hilarious.
Yep. Now that scene startled me when I saw that in theaters because they cranked the volume up, and you know, I get startled at a loud noise. I'm like a deer sometimes. Whenever like a loud noise happens, I jump like almost out of my skin. So I was just sitting there. It's like he was speaking, but he wasn't really that loud. All of a sudden, like when the shark came out, it's like every speaker almost like blew out when that scene happened. So I was like ah. So,
like that.
So I was more startled than actually scared when that scene happens. Yeah, the good stuff.
But the next event in the film is where the family separated.
Yeah.
I can't believe we've got to talk about this. Dora the fucking Explorer.
Yeah. And
finds a baby dinosaur, basically.
Oh yeah, I gotta sell that. Gotta sell them toys.
Like you see, you know, Marvel's got Baby Groot, Star Wars has got Grogu, and now we have a fucking Dolores.
Superman's got Crypto.
Yeah. And I actually mentioned all of this in my Superman review. I said every franchise has to have a baby cute character to sell toys.
Oh yeah.
If the big vicious characters don't do it, like the T-Rex or the Indominus Rex or the, you know, the Spinosaurus, Motosaur, let's just hire baby cute dinosaur in. So basically she discovers a dinosaur, and during the time where, you know, the father's like, oh, he's absolutely exhausted. The boyfriend's like, oh, you get to sleep. I've got the next watch. I'll look after you. Like, so then he goes to do that, and you know, the baby Dolores that Aquila Docs lies next to her and falls asleep. We're all meant to go, oh. I was like, fucking get rid of it.
No. Nah, get rid of it.
During that time, what ends up happening is he goes the boyfriend decides to go for a wee-wee.
Yeah.
And
at
this point, I did not realize that there were raptors in this movie. And when I seen the raptors behind them, I thought that clearly they cannot be going to kill the boyfriend off.
But can I
fucking scene?
Yeah.
But can I say, Kevin? Though, for me, I literally thought to myself, it's like they're going to kill him this kind of early. I mean, it seemed like it'd be a little, you know, but it's like they're going to use raptors, because do you see how the raptors? They're like that stance like they did in Jurassic Park, the first Jurassic Park. And I'm thinking like, okay, if they're going to do a kind of cop out here a little bit, you know, because if he's going to get attacked, it's like, okay, fine. It's like, whatever. But what happens? Some dinosaur saves his ass while he's taking a piss. And it's it was a pteranodon. I mean, that
No,
It was
it's
a
the new.
6-foot
It's
turkey.
the,
That's what it was. It was a
That's
6-foot turkey.
that's what it
it's
was. And
it's Gigan before he turned into a cyborg.
Yes, it was a
Okay.
6-foot turkey. One of the it was a mutant turkey things from the end of the movie. That's what it was.
it did,
It was.
it did the
That
fact,
thing. It was that thing right there. That's the guy.
it
It's
did
the
the fact,
Mutadon.
but then the fact that when he gets saved by and it kills both because there's two of them. There's one on the side and one on the other side, and it takes them both. It takes
Thank
them
you,
both
Jake.
out. Yes, I said.
But
when but when
I
Go ahead.
had D Film Fanatic on this side of us.
Mhm.
I had Sci-Fi Century on this side of us. And I literally went like this because I really thought they were going to kill the kid. I thought, let's do this. This is dark. And I went like that, and I was like in the seat like that, looking at the other
Oh, you ready for it?
I was waiting for that or the T-Rex or something. But what I didn't expect, and I jumped, is when the Mutadon jumped on the raptor and ripped him apart, and the kid's like standing there holding his, probably his 2-inch dick at this point, and he's trying to pee. And, even I jumped because out of everything I expected, that wasn't what I expected to happen. And I was like, holy shit. But, that shocked it. And then they tried to make you laugh when he finished his pee.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, no, that wasn't going to save it. I mean, it's one if you get the scare, okay, we'll go with that. But then you go back to what he's doing to relieve himself. It's like, okay, you kind of lost the punchline. Sorry, it's done.
So for me personally, that was just simply there to introduce the Mutadon.
Yeah.
Which I thought, to be honest with you, I thought it was. I mean, I don't know how you guys felt, but I think it was done pretty well doing it that way, because you wasn't expecting that to happen.
But like you said, the end bit spoiled the moment.
Yeah.
Was trying to make a comedic moment.
That's,
something
yeah.
Yeah. So the next thing basically is, they bump into the, the walking through the fields, and they now need to get the next lot of DNA from the next dinosaur, which happens to be a scene that brought a tear to Sci-Fi Century's eye. And that is when we were introduced to now the Titanosauruses.
Can I just say that this was I had to say this wasn't a very emotional moment for me, because it reminds me of the moment when I saw the Brontosaurus in the first Jurassic movie. And, I was only 23, but just to see this creature walking so massively, and then you see this, but it wasn't just the seeing this, it's the fact that you see two of these Titanosauruses, kind of like embrace one another. It's like, wow, you mean there's actually feelings, there's love, and everything. And I had to say, and you'll if you explain, I thought there was something more that was going on in this moment. But
it was actually said by Dr. Loomis when he says like the second dinosaur, which is the second biggest dinosaur on Earth, is the Titanosaurus, and it's living in the field over there, which really they were right in front of them lying down, but you didn't see them. And basically what happens is during that time is she's preparing the needle dart to fire it at the Titanosaurus, and you see the tails waving, and they do like the gentle headbutts. And what you call it, Dr. Loomis says, well, you'll have to hurry up and, and do it before the finish. And she's like, what you mean, finish what? And when she looks up, you don't see what's going on, but it's hinted that they're in the process of mating.
Yes.
But Gareth Edwards was intending to add a scene where you're seeing the animals mating, but he thought it might be too graphic for a younger audience. So he didn't film it. But the dialogue for that scene is still in the movie. So that scene where he turns to her and he goes, you better fire it before the finish or whatever, before the continue, whatever the line was, I can't remember the exact line, that wasn't changed. So then, of course, it just pans to them doing the head rub. and that, you know, like gently rubbing the head, and then his back, and then the male's neck has the fins that rise up.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the, you know, that's like affection. So he added that in instead of showcasing the mating.
Because I gotta say, I mean, because like I said, I think, like I said, we talked about this off camera, you know, when we was in San Diego. I said to myself, there's more going on here than just them rubbing necks, you know, casually swirling their tails around and everything. It's like, I think they're kind of engaging in a very more intimate notion right now, you know, and I was like, that's fine if they are, because hey, you know, if you got to satisfy your hunger for, you know, some dino, whatever, you know. I mean, every living creature has to have that, you know. They have to have that moment. But when you explain to me that Gareth actually filmed something more graphic,
I don't know if it was filmed, but I know it was his intention to add something of that nature in the film, and then he ended up not adding it because he decided if you had young kids in the audience, it might be too graphic. And obviously, he wanted to sell the movie to a, you know, like a PG audience, so you could have a younger audience there. Hence, also, you had the Dolores character, the dinosaur, the Aquilox.
Right.
So, you know, what can we say? How was it those samples would always land somewhere near the characters? It's because it was in the script.
It
must have read the script.
It was in the script.
It's reasons.
That's the only way you could say.
That's what.
But this leads to the next scene, which was a total change to the scene we had before, which was all lovey and dovey and all nice and, you know, bringing we're all going, oh, that's cute, that's lovely. The next scene is my absolute favorite scene, but it's also the scene that frustrated me the most. And do you know where I'm going?
If I do, then it's my favorite scene as well.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's
Correct.
a fan favorite. Yeah, it's a fan favorite in the Jurassic World franchise. It's, of course, it is the scene what was cut from the first film because they didn't have the budget and they didn't have the time to add it to the first film. So Gareth Edwards had the intention, and the writer, who was the writer of the original Jurassic Park film, decided that the scene that they were going to cut, they would reinvent and add to this movie. But my only issue is they shouldn't have done it with the family. They should have added this scene with the team of Zora, because it would have been dark as hell. And for me, it would have been the perfect moment. You've already killed two members of our team off, you know? So this would have been the perfect moment to kill one of the other members of the team off and do a reference back to the first book in the first movie and give it that little bit of a dark tone. They're already trying to make it a monster movie with the, you know, the D-Rex. So why don't we give the fear back to the Tyrannosaurus Rex?
Exactly.
But unfortunately, they didn't do that. So do you want to set up the scene, Matt? Because
I'd love to.
I'll let you do it. Go
Yeah.
ahead, because I know you love it.
Okay, so the family wakes up and they start walking towards. They start following the pipes, which is a an energy source, and they're trying to find this this power station, which ends up being the research facility. They all decide on the ship that they're going to meet up at the research facility because they get separated, and the idea is once they're done getting their samples, they're going to meet up at the research facility because Zora actually made the plans that she's going to have a helicopter come in 24 hours after they're going to complete their mission. It's going to pick them up, and they're going to live happily ever after. Don't worry, we'll get there. So they're following the pipes when Xavier actually falls down this little hole. Everyone else falls down the exact same hole. Just go with it. They all fall down the hole, and they start to smell something really bad as the little dinosaur, Dolores, gets scared and runs off. Now, she smells something. That's a common thing with animals. They smell something, they run off. When they see something like a dead dinosaur, I can't remember it has the pompadour right on top of its head. And they see that the dad is actually really injured. So they're looking for a boat to actually follow the river. So the eldest daughter actually goes across the river and she's trying to find another boat. And she finds something. And she's dragging it along. Yeah, she finds something all right. Yes.
Yes.
And then in the bushes, there is a Dilophosaurus, a dinosaur we have not. Well, actually, no, I'm wrong. Actually, we saw the previous film for only a moment when Owen's character just strangled it and threw it away. Which we see it in this film, and we're like, "Yay, Dilophosaurus!" Where actually it just spreads its fan, and then just runs away. It's like, does anybody not really like the Dilophosaurus anymore? It's like, that thing doesn't get much love. So if they're going to do another Jurassic World movie, give the Dilophosaurus a little more love. I mean, the last time we saw one was like the first one and like parts of the other one. It's like, guys, come on. That was like one of like the big standouts. Yeah. So she actually finds a raft, which again, like we were saying, was actually from the book and parts of the original, first film, but was cut because of reasons. Mm-hmm. And she's dragging it as the bushes begin to rustle, and we see a sleeping Tyrannosaurus Rex. Now, people are saying that this is Rexy. It's not Rexy, guys. Rexy. Oh, this is what I wanted to say on the off of the stream. I'm going to say it now. Until I see a body, Rexy is not dead. Okay, yep. She's living happily ever after somewhere else. Okay. Rexy's not dead. Okay, I will live in my delirium and my delusions all I damn well please. Okay, she's not dead. Okay, so this Rex is sleeping. Now, you'd think you see a dinosaur like a Tyrannosaurus Rex, which everybody knows is the most popular, most feared dinosaur. I don't want to hear about any other dinosaurs. The Tyrannosaurus Rex is the most popular, most feared dinosaur. Yeah. You'd see something that big, that scary. You'd regroup with your family, especially when they're kind of like motioning, like, hey, get back here. Don't do it. No. What does she do? What does she do? She inflates the damn raft, which makes a lot of racket and a lot of noise.
Well, you actually, during that scene, as the raft unfloating, like coming out, unfolding and hitting the wall, you actually see the T-Rex stand up and open its eyes and point at the raft. So the next bit made me question, well, it's seen the raft. It's an unusual thing that's happened. Why didn't it go straight for the raft? And this is the bit that I found a bit slightly unbelievable, slightly hard to believe.
Slightly unbelievable? What was not what's unbelievable? There's one particular moment that's really going to be unbelievable, but we'll get to that point.
So the T-Rex wakes up and actually decides to go over and get a drink of water, which is not really unbelievable. I can understand that. I wake up, I get a big old thing of water when I first wake up as well. And actually, it's a really cool shot, but actually it doesn't really make much sense. It actually turns into Batman because you see it when the raft actually blows up, and when it falls over, he's gone just like that. Just poof, gone. So she gets the raft over, and they all get in, and then the Rex understands. Thank you, Omni. Then sees, and that's when we get our big chase sequence where Rex actually starts to chase after, and actually we get kind of a callback to Godzilla, where actually, yes, lots of people say that a T-Rex, he's got little baby arms, he can't swim. A Tyrannosaurus Rex actually can swim and actually begins to swim after them and actually dives under, and swims after them in a very exciting chase sequence, and actually flips over their raft. And then comes out of the water and actually attacking after them and strangely missing them over and over again. All four of these targets, and is missing them over and over again. Even they're diving underwater, but is continuously. It's like, okay, I understand. Yeah, they have to survive. Yeah, they're the family.
Well, they're not going to kill the Dora the Explorer, are they? But they could at least kill the older daughter.
Yes, they could have killed somebody in this group, but no, they all survive. Now, there is one very touching scene here where the youngest daughter, Dora the Explorer, is actually, hiding underneath the raft, and she's actually calling for help. And actually, it's actually harkened back to the original Jurassic Park, when Lex and Timmy are actually inside the Jeep, and the Rexy actually comes down through the roof, and she actually breaks the glass and everything like that. The Rex actually does that in this. And you actually think that, the Rex kills her at one moment. By the way, props to whoever made this raft. That is the toughest raft I've ever seen in my life. It actually can withstand the bite pressure and the teeth. Okay, what's up?
That's what I was going to say.
This is it.
How the fuck can a Tyrannosaurus Rex in Jurassic Park, Rexy is this T-Rex is a bitch compared to Rex. Because let's face it, look at what Rexy did. Rexy tipped over a car.
Mm-hmm.
She then ripped the freaking the tires right off, rubber strong tires.
Deflated them.
Deflated them, crushed the damn car, hid it off a cliff. Then in Jurassic Park,
Lost World.
The Lost World, the two Buck and Doe, the male and female T-Rex, they attacked, obviously, the big truck, the 4x4, knocked that off a cliff. Mm-hmm. Then they ripped the roof off a car and they've teared that poor man apart.
Mm-hmm.
In Jurassic World, even though she got her arse kicked, she give it all she got against the, Indominus Rex.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're coming to this one. The T-Rex can't even deflate a fucking rubber dinghy.
It's an exhilarating chase, and then it actually ends with kind of like a theme park-esque ending where its face gets stuck in between two rocks, and it pulls its face through and it scratches up his face and then just kind of walks off. So it's an exhilarating and fun chase, but kind of an anticlimactic ending, and that's it. So it's fun, but then again, anticlimactic ending. Take it away, Kevin.
Hence why I said this scene should have been with Zora's team.
Okay.
Because this scene should have been done with Zora's team, where they, after they go and they have the moment with the giant Titanosauruses. It should have been, they should have not featured the T-Rex with the family. They should have got the DNA from the Titanosauruses. The next scene could have been the family, and they could have had the exact scene we're seeing with the Dilophosaurus, and it could have been a scene where they run away from it, and there's a handful, and they have to battle in to escape. The next scene should have been them trying to get to, the cliffside where I think it's called the Quintosaurus or whatever it's called, the big bird. As they're trying to get to the cliffside to get to the bird, to get the third lot of DNA, they have to cross a river, and when they get to near the river, that's when they bump into the T-Rex. So to get to the next dinosaur, they've got to pass the T-Rex. And then they've got to have a great sequence where the other guy in the red shirt should have been killed by the T-Rex. Like the scene where the T-Rex goes under the water and it misses the dad. It shouldn't have missed the guy in the red shirt and pulled him out of the water. Could have just seen a scene where you pulled him out of the water by his leg and he's hanging. The next thing you know, he turns around and bashes him into the floor behind a long grade bit of grass you can't see and chomps on him.
There you go.
This is what's known, but this is what's known as what Colonel Guile even said in the comments. This was what's known as plot armor. See, all these people who don't get killed off have excellent plot armor that can helps them from not getting thrown away in the movie, because otherwise these people should have been like terminated like that in a heartbeat, especially Dora the fucking Explorer. I don't like kids getting eaten or anything like that, but she should have got killed because the bite of the Rex on the raft, it's like, but
if it was real life, like what Queen Glamazona is putting there, the T-Rex was nearsighted. The T-Rex is nearsighted in the Jurassic World, in the Jurassic Park universe, but paleontology have now discovered that the T-Rex had amazing eyesight. So in the world of Jurassic World and Park, the fact that I know what she's saying, the T-Rex was nearsighted. But if you seen a scene where this giant dinghy was getting blown up right in front of its face, you see it stand up and you see it open its eyes and it's looking directly at the dinghy. If this was realistic, it would have just charged at that dinghy and ripped the fuck out of it.
Right.
If it was in reality, and this was realistic and was in the real world, and she even went near a T-Rex with the dinghy and blew it up, as I say, the T-Rex would have just got up and chomped the dinghy and went straight for her. So, but obviously because they had to play it safe and PG and they had to create like this great moment, I just think they picked the wrong people to have that moment with. The moment should have been with Zora's team and not the family.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is why I say, you know, it like all movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
You're right.
I'm like, yeah.
She's absolutely right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fat Rex.
This is why I say if anyone who watches any movies, there's reality and film logic. And with film logic, it always trumps reality every time. Even though if you want to go with so much realism in a film, but in the end, it's like, well, we got to kind of take some artistic licensing a little bit so we can say we can get through it because, yeah, I mean, anything with sharp teeth, anything that's got claws should be able to rip through any kind of material made by man. But, you know, hey, we got to throw a bone once in a while for some things.
So, see, there's two scenes. You have the Quintosaurus, or whatever the hell you want to call the giant, Rodan, Jurassic Rodan.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, the giant bird, you know, they could have even had used the scenes with the family against the bird. Because don't forget that the family found a pipe when the kid got off the shore, and they said, right, if we follow this pipe, it'll lead her to this village to where they're going to get rescued. So that's how it all started. So they're following the pipe towards what they think's a village. So they could have done a scene where they follow the pipe and then it leads to the cliffside, and that's where the bird is. And then they could have had the scene with Zora and her team getting attacked by the T-Rex. And when they're in the middle of getting attacked, when the family's in the middle of getting attacked by the bird Tyrannosaurus dinosaur, they then could have had Zora suddenly appear with the team and say, right, this is what opportunity. One, to save the family, and two, to get the DNA off the bird. But let's talk about the sequence with the bird, which is the next sequence where they find it's like Aztec ruins on the side of a cliffside.
Yes.
So, you know, the giant pterodactyl bird is now got it's basically got its eggs in its lair inside like this giant Aztec, symbolized structure that looks like a giant mouse piece sticking out.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Mr. Redshirt too.
The bird to me, and can I just say that the bird looks like a mutated Toucan Sam to me a little bit, to a degree.
Yeah, but this dinosaur is actually the biggest winged dinosaur that ever existed. So it's actually the same dinosaur that I think in Jurassic World Dominion that attacked the plane that was flying towards the Biosyn sanctuary. But this one looks a lot smaller than the one that was in Jurassic World Dominion.
Yeah.
So, as you know, what happens next is they have to get the last bit of DNA from the last largest creature on the planet. So by this point, everyone's exhausted. Mr. Krabs, the pharmaceutical guy, he's like adamant that they've got to, go for it. And they end up climbing down the cliffside. Well, some of them do where Duncan, and I think I said Pierre. He's got a French name because he was French.
Yes.
He's basically, with Duncan, Loomis and Zora ended up going inside this Aztec lair where they found giant eggs. But what Loomis does, because he's smart, he's appealing to, instead of actually attacking the bird, because he goes, it's going to be very dangerous to do so, especially because it's got wings, it can fly away, it can attack them, whatever. Because there's actually active giant eggs that have got the DNA and the creature's grown inside the egg, he decides to use this to his advantage in place inside the needle with the inside the egg, and to drain the DNA, not blood, but the DNA and all of that, the substance from the egg. And that's what they do. They drain the egg of the DNA sample instead of having to attack the bird. But at the same time, as Duncan and Red Shirt Guy 2 are waiting to get them back up, suddenly Mammy appears.
Yeah, she's not too happy.
Yeah, Mammy appears, and she literally goes berserk and attacks Zora, attacks Loomis. There's a back and forth until, of course, Mr. Red Shirt Guy, who's hanging on the side of the cliff, like I showed you, he basically ends up lunch.
Yeah.
So
Duncan, real quick, Queen is asking, why did they bring any weapons? Because Dr. Loomis was strictly forbade them from bringing any weapons, because this is supposed to be just about all the science. And if they ran into any dinosaurs, they would have to put themselves away from the dinosaurs. And it is a sin to kill dinosaurs and all that other stuff.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's why there's a very preachy message behind this film. And
don't tamper with nature, don't kill nature, it'll come back on you. So basically he gets munched, and Loomis ends up falling deep after the rope is cut, and he falls down into the crevice, and then Zora, Duncan and Crab go after him. So boom, there you go, you've got your final bit of DNA. Mm-hmm. And this is where things take a more Lost World turn, I would like to call it. Mm-hmm. Because in the Lost World, there's the scene where the raptors attack, obviously, Jeff Goldblum and his family at that giant compound when they were trying to radio for help. Right. So basically, the families followed this pipework to what is in a village, what is basically the research facility. The multi-billion-pound research facility that's been left dormant after the greatest threat of mankind, the Snicker Rapper, shut the place fucking down.
Yes.
Yeah.
And after that got shut down, of course, the D-Rex is somewhere slumbering. The D-Rex is somewhere about, which I believe, and I don't know if you believe, I think the D-Rex is a nocturnal animal.
Because it doesn't come out in the daytime.
Doesn't come out in daytime. It only seems to resurface during nighttime. And basically, they decide to have a look around this lab, but it's on a timer as well. Despite the Snicker bar destroying a multi-billion-pound laboratory, there's a generator which switches the power on to the rest of the compound at a certain time. Which I thought, right, so the Snicker bar can destroy the multi-billion-pound lab, but it can't shut off the whole fucking power to the whole facility that is being going for probably 20, 30 years plus without running out of power. Because don't forget, that lab existed from 2008. And in 2025, it's still got heat, it's still got electricity, it's still got power. And there's a lot of it that's still working perfectly fine.
Yes.
Yeah. So what ends up happening next is the family and Zora and all that get reconnected. Zora explains how basically there's a helicopter that's going to come to them and it's going to circle for 2 minutes, and if no one's available, it'll leave the island.
Yes.
And what ends up happening is suddenly our good friends, the Mutadons, suddenly appear and attack the family once again. Basically, is a complete cop-out and a complete replica of the raptor scene from Jurassic Park. All we needed is the kitchen, and all we needed is for Dora the Explorer to have a bit of fucking jelly in her hand and going.
And notice that the little, what was the name of the baby dinosaur that she?
Dolores.
Notice that she comes. She's not on screen for a minute. Notice she comes back into this hive mind situation. I was like,
she unlocked fast travel somewhere.
So it's like, you're back to this bullshit, really?
So basically, they got attacked outside of what's like a gas station. They end up running in the gas station, locking themselves in when the Mutadons attack them. But then here's the thing. Like Omniblast mentioned earlier, which is so illogical and so crazy, is that suddenly the Aquadox, Dolores, the little dinosaur that went missing near the T-Rex, ran away when they'd seen the T-Rex, was nowhere to be seen. They ended up miles down the river, away from wherever the T-Rex. Suddenly, they run into the gas station and hide behind the shelving where there's packets of like Pringles and all what you can get, bottles of pop. Suddenly, out the corner of her eye, Dolores the Explorer sees Dolores eating food on the ground in the middle of the store that's attached to the gas station. And I'm like, well, one, it was nowhere near them, and two, they locked the door behind them, so how the fuck did she get in?
I will say this, though. They're doing a great job of advertising snacks in this moment. I mean, I got to say, I mean, I actually got pretty kind of hungry for some snacks, to Doritos or Cheetos. Yeah. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, they said it's best. She must, I'm thinking she's teleporting. I'm thinking that's what she's.
It's fast travel. I'm telling you.
Or like Godzilla and Kong, she must have found a hole in the hollow earth and fucking climbed out of it in the middle of the fucking shop.
There you go.
Or no. What's her name was giving her Twizzlers earlier in the film, and those must have been like some laced with something. So like she's like a high on like a sugar or something. She had like a sugar rush, and she's just running around the island really fast,
like over the hedge kind of.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, like the squirrel from Over the Hedge. She's like ah.
So literally what happens next is the Mutadons is going rampant against them. Zora's basically hiding behind a car. The Mutadons, which are like a mixture of like a pterodactyl and a raptor. That's what the DNA is made of. That's the new threat attacking them. Suddenly, as the Mutadons get into the store, Dolores and the family basically, this scene here, they find like the look on the floor where there's a bit of dampness and water, and they can see the water going down like a cover up in the middle of the store that leads down into like some sewage system or air vent. So they ended up going down there and hiding from the Mutadon and crawling through it. At the same time, our good friend shows his true colours. Mr. Krebs, pharmaceutical douchebag. He basically has in his hand the briefcase with the alien DNA. He then not alien DNA, dinosaur DNA.
No, seriously, go with that, because that's literally what it is. It's alien DNA, because we're about to see a fucking alien dinosaur in a minute. Yeah. So yeah, we can say that.
He basically gets that in. He's got Zora's underneath the car, and he basically speeds off and leaves her behind. Shows his true colours. It was also explained throughout the plot how he had deceived the team, how he nearly killed the oldest daughter, how he had been hiding, what he had done and all this crap. It all comes out in the open, and he also finds a gun, and he's basically got the gun with him and is threatening the crew. in the team. So basically, he ends up zooming away in the car. As he's doing that, suddenly the helicopter appears.
Helicopter.
Get
And
to the chopper!
Yeah, so Duncan's went to go and stand where the helicopter is to try and intense it over to the helipad. And unbeknownst to him, there is a large creature slowly through the fog, like out of a, Universal's horror monster movie, is suddenly crawling behind him, which he doesn't see for 1 minute. And next thing you know, as the helicopter is slowly heading to the pad, you just hear a crunch. You see an explosion, and this fucking face come flying through the fog. Only a face a genetically engineered scientist could love. Because we got our first glimpse at this beautiful creature, the Rancor. I mean, the D-Rex.
Yeah, the Xenomorph.
Yeah.
I think it's beautiful.
I mean, it's not a bad design. I just feel that it's kind of what I'm saying. I think it deserves to be in another kind of kaiju type film.
Yeah,
and
it reminds me of Orga.
Yeah,
the Indominus Rex. My issue is it just doesn't fit the film.
Right, yeah.
You see it in the beginning of the movie. You then see it at the end, but it doesn't really, unlike, for example, the Indominus Rex had a full-fledged part throughout Jurassic World. It was the threat that escaped, and you see it throughout the movie causing chaos. This, for me, is a creature I felt sorry for. It is a mutant monster dinosaur that really shouldn't have been created. It's a genetically engineered mistake. And, it's living peacefully. And don't forget, when all the other films were happening with all the chaos around this creature has been left alone on this island, just surviving. And so I did have great sympathy for it, but I just do not understand why it was featured in the film. For me personally, if you go back to, say, Dominion, you had the Gigantosaurus. You could have featured that as the threat in this movie, and then at the end had it come out and fight the Tyrannosaurus Rex, which we're going to get to at the end, because I do know the whole point of when Duncan, in this particular photo, has the red flare. Gareth Edwards had the intentions of him having the red flare and waving it, which would then attract the T-Rex. And the T-Rex would, the Taurus Rex would then fight. But a producer in one of the guys who works on the special effects said, well, that's what happens in every Jurassic World movie. The T-Rex always comes in at the end and he always fights something. So Gareth Edwards made the change not to do that in the movie. He decided, I'm going to do something different and just have them basically not fight.
I think Gojira's brain is twitching very chaotically right now. It's
But what ends up happening is the family, they get through like this, get through the pipes, and Zora ends up in the pipes to get away from the Mutadons. The Mutadon does follow them into the pipes, which Zora does kill eventually. This leads to the climax of the movie, where basically they come out at like some location, which is like a vehicle hideout. They're there, but they're stuck behind the cage. There's a handle with a lever on, where basically if it gets pulled, it'll free them and they'll be able to get away from the chaos that's happening. But obviously, no one can fit through the gap of the bars to get to the lever to save them, except Dora the Explorer.
Yes. Good thing there's a child there with a certain size.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Coincidence.
It's a real girl. It's not a midget. It was a real girl.
Mm-hmm.
In this scene. So she manages to squeeze through the bars to basically get to the leather. But at the same time as this takes place, something arrives on the scene. And what arrives on the scene is our good friend, the D-Rex.
Mm-hmm.
Which this particular scene, I could see it being scary for young kids. So the D-Rex arrives, and she's now, terrified to unleash the leather. But at the same time, our good friend Mr. Krabs turns up as well in the car, who's speeding towards the helipad, not knowing that the D-Rex has totally totaled the helicopter. And as he gets closer to the area where the helipad is and where Dora and the family and everyone else is trapped behind bars, this is probably one of the best for me gotcha moments.
Yes.
Because boom,
It's like, damn.
yeah, the D-Rex
Got your
smashes down on the car. He comes flying over the roof of the car. The D-Rex, just like Mr. Snickers at the beginning of the movie, gets wrapped up in his hands, pulled up, and he gets munched on. And as we know, he has the briefcase which is connected to his arm with...
And conveniently gets detached from his whole body.
Yes.
Miraculously detached.
How is that possible?
Chews on him, and the only thing that's left is his arm, which has a bit of handcuffs, which is connected to the briefcase, flops to the ground.
Which, can I do a salad bar here for a sec?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So it's miraculous that it happens, but also it's set up earlier in the film that Dr. Jackass, I'm calling him Dr. Jackass because that's what he is. That's what he is to me. He sets it up earlier in the film that, this is too much power that we have for one pharmaceutical company to have. We should give this to the world. And then, Zora says, oh, you really thought about this too much. He's like, haven't you? And then she says, well, maybe you should stop thinking about it. So the whole movie, he's kind of, putting the seeds of, doubt in her mind, which, yeah, okay, he's right. The guy is, Mr. Krabs is a jackass. Okay, yeah, he does want the farmers, he wants his company to make all the money, and he is planning to, betray them towards the end. Yes, I understand that. But the entire movie, yeah, he's putting it in their minds that, yes, we should, give this to the world and not privatize this cure. Okay. But, it's funny towards the end of the movie, he then gets eaten, and then it just, that entire situation is pointless then, because then the situation is the whole decision is given to them anyway. So they can just decide for themselves anyway. It doesn't go to the plans anyway. Also, it's a fun little nod to Return of the Jedi when the Rancor eats the one guard, in the Rancor pit as well. So
yeah. So what ends up happening, like you say, the D-Rex totals the car, kills Mr. Douchebag. They all escape, and then because the helicopter's been destroyed, despite there being that warning if you go into the waters near the equator, you've got a Motosaur and Spinosaurus that are going to come after you. Despite that warning, which we're told right at the freaking beginning of the movie, they realise the only way to escape is to get on a boat, which is like this little half-assed dinghy boat. But they end up getting on that, and to get to it, they've got to get past the D-Rex, where this scene comes in, where Duncan basically sacrifices himself. He thinks to himself, I've lost everything. I've lost my friends. My wife and me are separated. My daughter's probably better off without us. So I'm going to save this family, Zora, Loomis, and do what I need to do. And so he lures the D-Rex away, and you assume he's been chomped because as they board the boat and sail off on the boat, on the motorboat, you just see the flare give out, and you just assume he's been munched. And the D-Rex chases after the boat, but unfortunately isn't successful. And they're still holding out the hope that Duncan's alive. And by God, yep, he survived the attack, and he sets off a flare and then swims up to the boat. And the film ends with them sailing off into the sunset with dolphins following them. And, they should... in end credits. What can we say? End credits.
Now, if I may, the music throughout the entire film is very somber. There's only 2 scenes in the film where it's actually very hopeful, and one is towards the end of it. Now, the one other scene is with the Titanosauruses, in the valley, where we hear like parts of the original Jurassic Park theme. Now, the other part is when they're on the ship, or not ship, the boat, and they're actually sailing towards, freedom. We actually hear Alexandre Desplat's, rendition of the Jurassic Park theme, and it's very hopeful. Like it's an earned, victory. Like, hey, we've survived. Hey, we have the DNA. Hey, we're making the right decision. Hey, we're going off to freedom. Hey, we've survived all this stuff. Now, here's your treat. Now you get to hear the Jurassic Park theme again. So it's like a fun little, ending. It's a fun little thing to like, earned ending, pretty much.
It almost feels like it was. I mean, I'm not saying it was earned, but it seemed like it was forced. It's like because you're mirroring the very ending of Jurassic Park when we see pelicans when they're on the helicopter and they're flying away. It's like,
but this time that's dolphins.
Well, exactly. And we're seeing dolphins, which is ironic because that's all we saw when we went whale watching, expecting to see whales. We didn't get that, but we got dolphins. I'm okay with it.
At least we didn't get a Spinosaurus either or a Motosaur, so I'm grateful. I'm grateful.
But that's what the whole purpose of that, seeing the dolphins nearing the end of Jurassic Park. And it's just a quote to say, man, stop fucking with nature and it won't fuck you back, in a way. But we already know that we're going to have some more,
well, this is meant to be the first of a new trilogy. I do know that.
Queen asked a very good question.
Yeah, put it up.
Yeah. I'm curious. Let's have a look. I'm curious, aren't they just going back into the same ocean that infested with... That's exactly what I just said.
Yeah.
They had no choice to escape the island. And how do they escape? They go back into the water, which they escape from. So I would have loved it as if the both you've got that lovely, subtle Jurassic Park music, and then you're just seeing...
It's like...
And then the screen went black, and then it was just credits coming up the screen in silence. No one would have seen it. People probably would have loved it because they were like, I didn't think they'd have the balls to do it. That's what I would have done.
It's almost like that Thanos snap. It's like you wouldn't expect it, and when it happens, like, oh shit, they actually went there, But
let's be honest, it is illogical, and like Omni says, this film is full of it's full of it's so contrived, and it's got a lot of it's very illogical. But I kind of get the helicopter they were going to escape on gets munched. The only thing they've got left in a desperate attempt to get to safety is the boat. So it's either take the little dinghy and go out into open waters and risk it, or just what else can they do? Because they can't contact anybody. Because if they contact government, they're going to be arrested and locked away in jail. The family, well, he'll never see his kids again. Yeah. The parent, the wife, the ex-wife, the mother, the kids were like, that's it, you lose custody, your life as their father is over with. So if you think of it in a logical way, that's why they didn't contact anybody else. But in the realistic way, you've just had the start of the movie, you had to fucking crash the boat to get away from the Motosaur and the Spinosauruses. Now you're heading back out into open water. But and to think this was written by the same writer who wrote the first movie.
Maybe because he got to remember it's been a 30-year gap, and maybe he's just kind of waning like so many other writers out there that feel like, well, let's just do a quick and dirty kind of effect and not really thrive on some logistics here and just go with that. I mean, even Jurassic, The Lost World had a little bit of realism to a degree, but here it's just like you're pushing it, and that's the thing. But hey, what can we do? It is a good popcorn eating film. It's just that it's got a lot of plot holes. It's got a lot of holes. Basically, it's got a lot of holes. Yeah, I know it doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. It doesn't.
But I think it was a mixture of trying to write a good movie, but also keeping the studio executives happy. Like, you might have wanted to put extra kills in, you might have wanted to do this, but they would have been like, you've got to cater for the family. And don't forget to put the baby dinosaur in because we've got lots of toys we need to sell. Yeah, it's like, what do you do? It's got to be like an equal balance. But for me, it was a balance that just didn't do the film justice in terms of like plot, But with that said, I'll go to each of you. Give us your good part, your good bits, your bad bits, and your score 1 to 10. So I'll start with Mr. Jedi Granville.
No, please go with Gojira, please, first before you go with me, because I got
right, Matt.
Yes, please.
Okay, the good bits. The dinosaur action was a lot of fun. I love the character Duncan. I thought he was great. Even though I thought the ending with him reminded me a lot of Jaws: The Revenge, which was a very interesting ending because either he dies in one ending or he lives in the other ending, which doesn't really make any sense. Which, however way you look at that, Scarlett Johansson is just kind of herself in this movie. I don't really think she's really putting on a character. She's kind of playing herself. The location I really enjoy. I love all the other scenes. The music again kind of feels very somber, but then again the moments where it does earn it, I enjoy. The other human characters just. The red shirts, I saw them dying a mile away. As
the saddest one being Nina.
Yes, Nina's the saddest one dying in the film. The family character, I understand why they're in the movie. They're appealing to the family. They're like Lex and Timmy, but like 4 of them rather than just 2 of them, pretty much. Which did we really need 4 of them? And I understand, earlier in the film, the dad did say, there's 50,000 ships on this line, so why would the Mosasaur attack us? Yeah, you're in a very small boat and a very easy thing. It's like, you flat out said, they're in freighters, okay? Why would a Mosasaur attack a freighter that's like probably twice the size of it? Why wouldn't it attack something that's much smaller than it? That's why it would attack that, right, dummy? That's what happens, okay? So for me to rate this film, it's fun. I saw it in theaters twice, to really get a kick out of it. Like 1 to 10, I'd say probably 6.5, maybe a 7. I'd say, and from like a normal scale, I probably like C+. I'd give this movie. Watch it. Yeah, it's much better than Dominion. It's along the same lines of, let's say, Jurassic Park 3. You love it or you hate it. It's got its merits, but it's not a film I'm probably gonna go out of my way to watch ever again.
Yeah. Jedi, are you ready?
Yes, this is the reason why I let Gojira go first, because I had to get my head wrapped around this, because as he says, this actually is better than Dominion. I will say that it is actually better as far as the action goes, as far as certain aspects of it. Certain logistics of this film, It's I gotta go back to the Snickers wrapper thing, because it's just amazing that we have this moment and it does what it does, but that's not even the big. I mean, that's one of the biggest, but the other things that happen in here are just like, I'm like, wow, you're actually doing this. You're actually going here, So it's all I can say is, I mean, yeah, and I think I agree with Gujira. Like Scarlett's acting. I mean, and she usually does a better job in terms of character acting, because I know when she did Under the Skin, she did a hell of a good job in that film, with her acting in that. But here it's like, yeah, it seems like she's like Leanne Rhymes. Is it? She's kind of doing that. She's always playing herself. She actually seems like she's just playing Scarlett Johansson. It's like you're feeling the jokes, you're feeling the fever of her. She is like. That's
it's
not
like,
the character they're playing.
It's like Jason Statham. Every film, it's Jason Statham.
Yeah, basically. Jason Statham.
He's been the beekeeper. He's been what? He's been the beekeeper. He's been
the working man.
Mm-hmm. Next he's going to be the butler. He's going to be, he's going to be the driving instructor.
He was in Homefront. He was always,
Yeah, he was in The Returner.
Mm-hmm. So it's. When you see someone who doesn't do a job of making you believe that you're playing a character like that, you get kind of lost in thinking like, what am I watching right now? I mean, it's kind of, and like I say, with the Ali's character, you really believe his character as this kind of downtrodden, kind of broken down individual who has no family, but he's trying to make sure no other family gets lost in his presence. I mean, I like that story arc. Now if he had died, I mean, wouldn't lost no. I mean, I'm not saying I would have lost sleep, but I mean, I would have felt bad. But I mean, knowing that you bring him back, it's like you kind of lose that momentum of that loss. It's like, I mean, it's a triumph, but it's like, but in the end, though, the movie to me is. I can say it's kind of rewatchable, but not to the point where it's like it's going to be like maybe a few years before I watch it really again, because it's not on my high list of films, especially for this year, because I know it's higher than some other films for watchable this year for 2025. But to give it a rating, I'm going to have to go with like what Gojira said, like a C plus. And for it's like number from 1 to 10. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with 6, in my opinion, because it's I can say it's. I mean, like I say, I don't. I mean, it's not a horrible film. I'm gonna tell you, there's some worse films out there right now playing, and this movie like really like looks like Lawrence of Arabia compared to some of those. But in short, this film is what it is.
Well, now the question: would you watch this or The Crow again?
I don't want to talk about Crow.
Okay, you talking about the remake Crow? I haven't even seen the remake Crow, so fuck the Crow.
Don't.
I mean,
don't.
No. Well, I wasn't. I mean, because like
I forbid you. I forbid you.
No. Oh, I wasn't. No, I wasn't even planning to see the remake of. Look, I told you before. Remakes and sequels, certain things. I mean, especially remakes. Get the hell out of here! I'm not doing that. No, I would watch this rather than watch that. So yes, I would watch this rather than watch it.
All right, allow me to stand on my soapbox real quick. I forbid not only you, Jedi, I forbid you, Kevin. I forbid everybody in the chat from watching the Crow remake. Don't do it.
What?
It's like save yourself.
Is something that'll shock you. Like I took one for the team.
You did not see it,
and I went to see The Crow, and I was the only one in the theaters. So how do you think that felt?
Like he was getting royally. Well, let's just say he getting the back door without feeling good.
I took the whole experience of that movie in, and I still left crying.
I wanted to. I don't want to talk about it. That's,
yeah, please don't.
I don't want to. Cut.
So let's get back. Let's get back to Jurassic World.
Let's talk about. Let's talk about.
Right.
Let's talk about.
This is my take.
Yeah. Please.
So this is my take.
Please do.
I look at Jurassic World Rebirth as just another entertaining, in many ways, solo entry in the Jurassic Park World franchise. For me, it's on the level of Jurassic Park 3 in terms of you can just sit and watch it and, you know, switch your brain off with watch it with popcorn with the kids and just enjoy what it is for it is. Does it have moments? Yes, my favourite moment is the motorsaw scene, despite it being frustrated with the whole thing with the dinghy. The whole fact of seeing the T-Rex slumbering and the angst of it getting up and seeing what was going to happen. I love that. And enjoyed the character of Duncan. And despite acting, I did like the character of Zora Bennett. I liked how her and Duncan had like this connection of the past relationship of being these mercenaries, and they had lost a lot of people. For me, that's what drove me to follow them characters even more in the film. It had a lot of nostalgia to it, linked back to Jurassic Park and Jurassic World, the Lost World. For me, it had those moments that it made you instantly think of the first movie and the second movie. But even though it had their nostalgic moment, it's more or less connected to the third one in terms of how it was, delivered to her, in terms of like the plot, the action, the characters, but I appreciate what they tried to do. Me negatives is I could not stand the family. I wanted every fucking member of the family to be wiped out, even the little girl. I know that sounds terrible, but there was no need for them to be in the movie. I think they had a missed opportunity to make this a more serious, dark, grown-up type film where you had these mercenaries go to this island, something like Aliens, where they went to this island, they didn't know what was there, they get to the island, and you've got this T-Rex causing havoc, like a xenomorph running around killing everybody. And then in the mix, you had all this mixture of great dinosaur sequences with the T-Rex, the Titanosauruses, the Motosaur. You could have made it a much darker, fun, action-packed film, but they've tried to make it a summer blockbuster popcorn film for families. And I don't like the title.
What's the Rebirth?
For me, it's not a rebirth. It's a continuation. So it should have been called Jurassic World Survival, in my eyes.
That would have been a better,
because it's about the survival of these dinosaurs on the equator in this unique island, and it's also about the survival of the curing of a disease, heart disease, for humanity. So that is just my opinion. Don't like the title. They're my positives and my negatives. Now, if I'm going to rate this, I'm going to give this a 6 out of 10 as well, because I think it's bang on the money. I think it's a fair rating. I think, the film isn't terrible, but it isn't great. It's on par for me with Jurassic Park 3. It's better in my mind for the action sequences and the dinosaur sequences than Dominion. But there are elements of Dominion that I do think work better than what worked in this.
Yes.
But that's my opinion, and this has been Mr. Gojira 851 and Mr. Jedi Granville. Mr. Jedi Granville, before we go, is there anything coming to your channel?
At this moment, no. It'll probably be another month before I really have something cooking on the back burner to bring to my channel, because believe it or not, I'm still wheeling from my San Diego trip, and since school is about to start up around where I live at, I'm going to be hella busy So it'll probably be, and it probably won't really slow down to the end of that month. But it'll be something along the lines coming along where we'll bring something out. But it'll probably be like little increments. But I will be joining you next week on the
25th.
The 25th for the last dinosaur, which I am
Kaiju Connections. Yeah.
Yes, I would definitely be involved with that. So other than that, I have nothing particularly special coming up anytime soon.
Yes. Gojira 851, anything coming to your channel?
I am in a holding pattern right now because I have things pre-bought and pre-ordered that I am still waiting on to be delivered and to be done. I have some X Plus figures, and I have some Hiya Toys figures I'm waiting to have sent to me to review. I'm thinking about doing another, kind of editorial editorial video that I want to do, but I'm still trying to, figure out how I want to do that kind of video, but so there's kind of holding pattern of when I want to have that done and when they're going to actually send those things out to me because, they're just trying to figure out when they're going to send them to me. So, yeah. Then again, Saturday I'm going to be joining still Silver Screen Savants. We'll be talking about Pirates of the Caribbean, so you can check me out over on there. But other than that, I don't really have anything else planned. So I'm just kind of with the Sci-Fi Society right now doing with Anthony Jordan, I'm going to be doing The Last Samurai review with him and Sci-Fi Century. Also, I need to send something out to him as well. I picked up something for him as well. So, but yeah, I'm just trying to help out around there while I'm trying to get my own stuff kind of set up. So,
well, still, I look forward to your unboxing videos. I always find them entertaining, and I love listening to your opinions on when you get your collectibles because it also helps me decide if I want to buy something or doesn't.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. So anybody who likes kaiju unboxings and, kaiju collectibles, I do suggest you go to Gojira 851's channel because he's got a lot of great content there. If you want a lot of great film discussions, like earlier today, Mr. Jedi Granville did do his Explorer review and discussion. He does a lot of great anniversary content streams and things, so please check him out as well. As for me in the entertainment headquarters, tomorrow night I have the Retro Classic Movie Show with my co-host Mr. DJ Anubis, and we are going to be talking about Young Guns 1988. And after that, coming Monday is part 2 of Into the Darkness, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre franchise discussion. And as Mr. Jedi Granville has mentioned, leading into next week on the 25th, we have Kaiju Connections classic movie review, and it's going to be The Last Dinosaur. So please look out for those. Please check them out. And for everybody that has watched us today, thank you so much for sticking by and all your lovely comments. We do appreciate it. Yeah. We do enjoy when the audience interact. But from me, from Mr. Jedi Granville, and from Mr. Gojira 851, keep on enjoying your movies. Keep on enjoying all things entertainment. And we'll catch us all at the next one.
Yes.